Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Whitney Ward.
And I'm Tom Sherry. After several delays, the trial for a man accused of firing at a Coeur d'Alene City Police 2 years ago in City Park is now underway. 19-year-old Tyler Rambo is now charged with attempted murder in the second degree and aggravated assault. Both of those are felonies. Opening arguments in the trial are just about to start. KREM 2's Amanda Rowley has the latest on the court proceedings, which are a little bit different than usual.
Yeah, that's right, Tom. We'll get to that in just a moment. But today, the criminal trial jury selection for Tyler Rambo started this morning. It was expected to go through the day, but opening statements, as you mentioned, started earlier than expected. In fact, this afternoon. Now, here's what we know about the events that led up to this trial. At the time, in 2019, on 4th of July, Tyler Rambo was 18. He was charged with attempted murder in the second degree and aggravated assault, both felonies. Now, on July 4th, Coeur d'Alene police say Rambo waved a gun at City Park and fired at police. This was during the 4th of July celebration, so a lot of people around at that time. After that shooting, his legs were amputated. He ended up pleading not guilty to both charges. Now, as you mentioned, the trial has been delayed several times due to COVID restrictions, but Kootenai County was able to resume jury trial proceedings today. It's one of a few Idaho counties that were able to do that, as long as it follows COVID-19 restrictions. Now, that includes only the judge, jurors, and attorneys must be physically present in the courtroom. Masks are also required at all times. And as for public space, that's limited seating because of those COVID restrictions, which is why we, the media, were not granted our camera or even physical access to sit in and observe in the courtroom. Coming back out live here at the Kootenai County Courthouse, we do know that to accommodate for this limited seating and capacity, the court will be live streaming the hearings moving forward. Right now, they're working on some technical difficulties, but once they solve that, we'll be able to listen in to those opening statements, something we hope to bring to you here as they begin. Reporting in Coeur d'Alene, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Thank you, Amanda. Well, investigators are now looking for a witness to a crash that killed a man at the Post Falls Walmart. Investigators say a driver hit and killed the 73-year-old man early Saturday in the parking lot. Now, that video you're looking at right there is from the scene. Authorities say that they interviewed the driver, but they want to hear from other witnesses about what they saw.
The driver of a Dodge pickup was traveling southbound in the parking lot of the Walmart in Post Falls. He made a left-hand turn in front of the grocery section of the Walmart, striking a pedestrian.
Anyone with information can call the number on your screen. You can see it's 208-209-8730. That number will connect you to the Idaho State Police District Office. Police have not yet made any arrests in this case. They say it's an ongoing investigation.
All right, another big headline, of course, that we are tracking today is the fact that it was a gorgeous sunny day on Monday. I mean, it looks like maybe it's not quite as sunny out right this minute as it was earlier.
It was great, though.
Man, oh man.
If it's got to be Monday,
right,
let it be a sunny Monday,
always,
right?
yes.
I want to say a Sunday, but you know, we just got done with that. Take a look at the weather headlines. Meteorological spring has sprung, ladies and gentlemen. And we call this the beginning of meteorological spring, March, April, May. That is our actual springtime. Of course, halfway through the month, we'll actually celebrate astronomical springtime, when our daylight hours actually begin to get longer than our nighttime hours. Look for partly cloudy days for the remainder of this week. We may climb into the upper 50s by the time Friday rolls around. We're at 49 degrees right now, so close to 50. Wind is out of the south at 7 miles per hour. When we take a look at the radar, we're not seeing any activity, not only in the inland northwest, but the entire Pacific Northwest. So look for mostly cloudy skies tonight with an overnight low of 32. Tuesday, we'll get up to 47 degrees. We'll get into the upper 50s by Friday. And for the weekend, I've got a slight chance of showers Saturday and Sunday, but still really nice spring weather. Look for a daytime high of 55 on Saturday and 50 on your Sunday.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. I would say that if I didn't have spring fever before, I definitely have it now.
That's right.
And lots of people, I think, do too.
That's about the only fever that's good
to
have.
Yes, that's such a good point. We'll take it for sure. All right, today was certainly a big day for Spokane public school students. We know today all remaining students who had been learning from home were back in in-person instruction for SPS. This is, of course, after almost a year of distance learning.
Yeah, Lewis and Clark teachers and staff say that they are ready to take on some of these new challenges. Our Morgan Trout now is live at LC with how the pandemic has caused some students to worry about coming back to in-person learning. Morgan.
Whitney, Tom, school is back in session for in-person learning here at Lewis and Clark High School, and educators cannot be happier. But with this excitement comes a sense of responsibility. I spoke with the school counselor about how they say they're going to be tackling a new kind of anxiety. Sports, clubs, and social gatherings have been shut down. Some students say they've been missing out on their high school experience due to remote learning.
Everyone is stepping up and doing their part to do a little extra to make this a warm, welcoming adjustment for kids, and we're so excited to have them back.
Lewis and Clark school counselor Emily Magnuson says educators are prepared to step up the personal and emotional needs now that schools are back in person. After nearly a year of doing virtual sessions, she understands that this change may be difficult after a stressful 11 months. She says the school will be back and trying to normalize asking for help because they say that reaching out could help you realize that you're not alone. Reporting live at Lewis and Clark, Morgan Trow, KREM 2 News.
Certainly a good reminder, Morgan. Thank you very much. Well, for a lot of students as well as parents, now the big obstacle or the challenge is to make sure that kids can stay connected because, as we know, most kids had a very different experience when it comes to distance learning. For some, it was easy. For others, it absolutely was not. So we actually talked with one group of Spokane students that took kind of a different approach to the last 12 months of homeschooling, and now they say they're ready for something a little more traditional. Here's KREM 2's Laura Papetti.
It is March, and for some students, it's the first time through the school doors in nearly a year. As Spokane junior and high school students enter back in the classroom beginning this week, it comes with a collective sigh of relief for students that have been cooped up and for parents who have struggled to keep kids on task. KREM 2 recently chatted with these three sophomores. They all have varying perspectives on attending in-person class, but the prevailing thought was back to school means back to some basics that have been missed.
As much as I didn't like the actual schoolwork, I liked seeing people every day, meeting new friends at school, and just, like having like structure, routine, getting up, going to school, and COVID's kind of just put that all to a halt.
Like kids all over the region, Hudson, Jackson, and Keon have struggled for nearly a year to deal with shuttered schools, canceled sports, and keeping healthy. To survive and thrive, they created a bubble of sorts. Their parents let them go to school in a vacant investment property owned by one of the parents. It wasn't fancy. In fact, it had no running water, but it kept them together while keeping them apart from a large crowd. A somewhat rundown home became a makeshift schoolhouse.
I'm not the greatest with technology, so the online I haven't loved. And yeah, to be able to be back in person, seeing people every day, kind of have like a routine and have like a schedule I can kind of stick to more and be able to get out of the house more will be really nice.
For these three students, they were able to log on most days and stay up to speed. But the social aspect didn't score as high.
Not being able to see my friends and see people every day, like most of my classmates I haven't seen.
Well,
we lost Laura there, but we certainly got the idea that they're excited to go back.
Excited to go back, and we now get a glimpse. We knew it was hard for them. They're confirming that it was hard for them, and they are ready to get back into the classroom and see their friends and learn in a traditional way.
And take on the new challenges that come with being in a classroom. So lots to look forward to.
Hey, we've got some good news here as we fight this whole COVID and the whole pandemic. Another vaccine now has hit the market to fight the pandemic. The first dose of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine actually made its way to the UPS World Port located in Louisville, Kentucky. That all happened this afternoon. Yeah,
and this is where we find Dennis Ting now. He's got more on a big day in the fight against the coronavirus.
This road into UPS World Port is well traveled. Trucks loaded with precious cargo making this trip every day. But some trucks, like this truck, are a little more special these days.
A vaccine, yes, it's just a shot in the arm, but it's also a shot of hope.
The first doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which was approved for emergency use just this weekend, made the 30-minute trip from the McKesson distribution facility in Shepherdsville, Kentucky, to UPS Worldport in Louisville. Transported in this nondescript UPS truck, marked only by the police escort guiding it down the Kentucky roads.
There's a lot of work that goes behind completing these missions, and people working on the front line and behind the scenes to, bring this nation out of the pandemic.
Once the vaccines reach UPS Worldport, they're then loaded on planes and flown around the country by pilots like Captain Elise Atkins.
In the back of my mind, I do know that not all packages can save lives like this vaccine can. So for that aspect, it's definitely an amazing experience.
Well, also this week, the only COVID vaccine appointments at the Spokane Arena will be for those who need their second dose shots only. This is really important. Washington's Department of Health is still playing catch up. This is after those winter weather delays from the shipment of all those vaccines, of course, got way behind. So if you are looking for another provider to make an appointment for the second dose, you can just text the word vaccine to 509-448-2000. In the meantime, President Biden's top health officials say even though coronavirus cases are actually continuing to fall, now is certainly not the time to let go or become complacent about the virus.
Yeah, this is even with the approval of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. There is still a lot of work to do to make sure that every American can get a shot. More money to help ramp up vaccine distribution is just one part of the president's $1.9 trillion COVID relief proposal.
In 2 weeks, on March 14th, around 11 million Americans will start losing their unemployment benefits if Congress doesn't act on the president's rescue plan.
We're not going to go waste Americans' money. We have $27 trillion worth of debt. You see interest rates are going up. Inflation is coming back. It's caused because of government spending.
Democratic aides working on the legislation say adding the corporate tax proposal would take too long. They're hoping to bring the COVID relief plan to the Senate floor for a vote on Wednesday or Thursday so that President Biden can sign it into law before those expanded unemployment benefits expire.
And Governor Jay Inslee is waiving all liquor license fees for Washington businesses. He tweeted this out, saying this one-time waiver will provide some financial relief to businesses that, of course, have been hit hard during the pandemic. Those licenses can cost about $100 for beer and wine specialty shops, but actually more than $2,000 for restaurants that serve beer, wine, and liquor. So those waivers will go into effect in April.